Iran has carried out its first ever multi-satellite launch, placing 3 domestically developed spacecraft into orbit from Russia's Vostochny Cosmodrome, underscoring Tehran's deepening space cooperation with Moscow despite continued Western sanctions. The satellites, Tolu-3, also referred to as Paya, Zafar-2, and Kausar 1.5 were integrated with a Russian Soyuz 2.1B launch vehicle at the Vostochny spaceport and deployed as part of a multi-payload mission. According to Iranian and Russian media, this marks the 7th occasion on which Iran has relied on Russian rockets to send satellites into space. Iranian officials described the mission as a milestone for the country's civilian space program. Speaking ahead of the launch, Iran's ambassador to Moscow, Kazem Jalali, said the deployment represented a major step forward in Iran's technological self-reliance, according to Press TV. On X, Jalali stressed that the satellites were designed and built using indigenous Iranian technology with contributions from government institutions, universities, and private knowledge-based firms. While the manufacturing and design work was completed domestically, he said, the launch itself was conducted in partnership with Russia. Tolu-3, weighing about 150 kilograms, is Iran's heaviest and most advanced satellite to date. Iranian officials say the Earth observation satellite can capture black and white images at roughly 5-meter resolution and color images at about 10-meter resolution. Zafar-2, developed by the Iran University of Science and Technology, is intended for monitoring natural resources, environmental assessment, disaster management, and mapping. Kausar 1.5, an upgraded version of earlier Kausar and Hudhud models, incorporates Internet of Things capabilities to enable real-time data transmission for smart monitoring systems. All 3 satellites were placed into low Earth orbit, according to Iran's state news agency IRNA. The launch came at a politically sensitive moment, coinciding with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's U.S. visit to meet U.S. President Donald Trump for talks expected to focus on Iran, Gaza, and other issues. Israeli officials have viewed the satellite deployment as a signal of defiance by Tehran, particularly after the confrontation between Iran and Israel earlier this year. Prior to that conflict, Iran had carried out multiple satellite launches, some independently and others in cooperation with Russia, often drawing concern from the United States and Israel over the potential dual-use nature of the technology. Western governments have long argued that space launch vehicles share technological overlap with long-range ballistic missile development, including intercontinental ballistic missiles. While Iran insists its space program is purely civilian, critics say advances in launch capability could shorten timelines if Tehran were ever to pursue more advanced missile systems. Analysts cited by Israeli media have noted that even if Iran's nuclear program has been significantly disrupted following the recent conflict, progress in space and missile technology could still carry long-term strategic implications. Security experts also point to Iran's extensive use of conventional ballistic missiles in recent attacks on Israel as evidence that its missile capabilities pose a serious threat independent of nuclear weapons. In addition, surveillance satellites could improve Iran's intelligence-gathering capacity. During the recent conflict, Israel benefited heavily from its own satellite-based intelligence, and analysts suggest Iran may be seeking to narrow that gap, potentially with Russian technical support. Iran first entered space in 2009 with the launch of the Omid satellite and has steadily expanded its program despite sanctions. Tehran has increasingly leaned on Russia for launch services, a trend that has intensified since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Western nations accuse Iran of supplying drones and missiles to Russia for use in Ukraine, allegations Tehran denies, but the growing space cooperation highlights the broader strategic alignment between the two countries.
Israel is in panic after Iran conducted missile drills across several cities. According to the Iranian media, the drills took place in cities including Tehran, Isfahan, Mashhad, Khurramabad, and Mahabad. The drills took place a day after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Iran that any hostile move would draw a sharp response, referring to potential Iranian strike. The missile drills took place after the Iranian government said that Tehran's missile program had been solely developed to defend the country's sovereignty.
برنامه موشکی ایران Iran's missile program has been developed for defending Iran's sovereignty, not for negotiations. Therefore, Iran's defensive capabilities, which are meant to stop aggressors from even thinking about attacking Iran, are not up for talks at all. We are focused on our jobs. Our armed forces know well how to defend us whenever necessary. Therefore, without paying attention to the malicious propaganda, the Iranian nation, the armed forces, and all parts of the ruling system will continue to do their jobs with focus.
Earlier, Israeli officials said the missile exercise could be preparations for a strike on Israel and warned Trump administration about potential Iranian attack on the Jewish state.
We know that Iran has been doing exercises lately. We are following this, and we are making the necessary preparations. I want to make it clear to Iran here, any action against Israel will be met with a very harsh response.
We are not seeking confrontation with anyone. I can speak on behalf of Israel, and I think for my two partners here, no one seeks confrontation. On the contrary, we seek stability, prosperity, and peace, exactly as the three of us said. Obviously, we are committed to defending each one of our countries, but also defending maritime lanes and other things that are shared in common and that go under international norms. I think that is obvious. So I would say this is a coalition for these norms and for that stability. And we hope that it won't be tested. That's all I can tell you.
According to Axios, Israel's military chief of staff, Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir, called the head of U.S. Central Command, Admiral Brad Cooper, and expressed Israeli concerns over the Iranian missile exercise. Zamir told Cooper that the recent Iranian missile movements could also be a cover for a surprise attack. Netanyahu is expected to meet Trump on December 29th in Miami, wherein he wants to discuss Iran's efforts to rebuild its ballistic missile capabilities and the possibility of another strike against Iran next year. As per the Axios report, Israeli officials claimed that following the June war, Iran was left with 1,500 missiles, down from 3,000 it had before. Tehran was left with 200 launchers out of the 400 it had before, the officials added. Israeli media had also reported that Tehran explored a pure fusion nuclear weapon, a technology no country on Earth has ever mastered.